What do you see, Matt? Because I've had this conversation with a few people now, going forwards with the cheapies. When we started getting in these 2016, 17, 18 cars that have got like LED headlights that are £800 and radar that's £1,500 and lane assist and all that, where do you think the small cheapy markets can go? Because we're going to have to really toughen up, I think, aren't we, on what we say we're going to cover and what we're not going to cover? Because it's going to be unrealistic, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, as I said before, with the cheap stuff that I sell, if it's a part exchange or just a cheap thing that comes through the door, I'm just quite upfront with my advert. If something isn't working, just list it so that no one's under any illusion that it's working or I will fix it because it doesn't work.
Because those that like the Kias we like selling, they're getting to a point. Some of them aren't they, where the LED, the driving lights are LED and they'll fail an MOT, won't they? And they're like, I think like 800 quid
The
to
other thing with
replace.
with Kias of that era that we're discussing, reverse cameras, they always fail. They're always blurry, and they're 500 quid from Kia. So I'm not putting a £500 reverse camera on a 12-year-old Kia Sportage.
Yeah, I think the price point of these cars would have to get so high to be able to fix everything. So people are going to have to start to accept them with faults, aren't they? I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people will.
This is the problem. As long as it's nothing sort of that makes it unsafe or whatever. If it's just one of the little optional extras that it's got that doesn't now work, I think people will have to be realistic.
Maybe that would be the adjustment of the law, wouldn't it? Over 10 years old and 100,000 miles, it needs to be mechanically safe, but other accessories may be faulty or not functioning. Would be like a little addition that would help us a lot.
I'm probably letting a cat out of the bag here, but the girls from Wink Cars, I think, are petitioning their local MP to take, which he's or she, the MP, has taken on to try and change the Consumer Rights Act for car sales. Whether it would go anywhere or not, I don't know. But my sort of input was like, yeah, great, but if it doesn't get anywhere, just a simple clarification of what is fit for purpose when it comes to a used car would solve 9 out of 10 problems. Because I always say that I feel like you could almost have like a disclosure form on cheap cars to say, right, just make sure that for 6 months your car is going to be fit for purpose. Here's what we deem as fit for purpose. You can get in it. You can lock the doors. It's dry. It drives. The heaters work, so you can stay comfortable. At least one window will open. And whatever it is, it's or what you're using it for. So picking up the kids from school, the occasional trip to the shops. Okay, cool. And you write that down and get them to sign it. Because if they're like, oh yeah, the radio now like loses signal, and changes to a different radio after 10 minutes, or the rear, third row window doesn't go down, it's still fit for purpose, isn't it? So, it's still a car you can get in, you can lock and keep safe. Whether that even has to be with the
I'd
key,
like
it
there to
doesn't
be a change in
really.
the
But
law, but I can't see that happening.
No, who when they go and present that, it's like who's this a benefit
Why
to?
would they
Car
want to look
dealers. Well,
after
they're
car dealers? Exactly.
yeah, they're scum of the earth. So yeah, they rip everybody off anyway. So like that's why I say that's why the change would need to be on, because how many people get ripped off on driveways with stuff that's bad and they find out it's got problems. So what you do is you present it as we want to help, you know, we want to help support people buying from driveways. We want to help, prevent them from getting ripped off and fraud. Call it fraud, because if you call it fraud, then it'll get all the attention it needs. And then, so we want to give them a little bit of a window where if they find there's an issue with it, they can bring it back. And then what would happen is people would have more of an understanding of the challenges we go through, because they tried to sell it private. They'd end up having loads of issues with people coming back over silly things. They'd then flood the market full of used
Nobody
cars
would
because
bother
they wouldn't
selling
want
them
to sell them.
themselves, would they?
They wouldn't sell them themselves. So that would bring the market price down of those cars, which would make it cheaper for you to buy it from a dealer where you do get the protection. So everyone's a winner.
not everyone's going to agree with that, I'm sure, James. You can do in the comments saying you're just
They
trying
won't
to.
agree with me because they sell a car off their driveway and they do it in an honest way, which, there's honest car dealers as well. But we also know there's plenty of people that get burnt, and if it is, and that's the big problem, is it? If it is the only 3 grand you've got, if it's the only 5 grand you've got, that's it. You're in real trouble, aren't you? You haven't got the money to get it fixed. That's why we have problems, isn't it? Because they max themselves out buying a car. They max themselves out buying a car, and then when it does have a problem,
Going
three
back to
months.
the finance companies, I've had a few, or my colleagues under sort of my instruction, really, have had this a few times where we'll get a call from a big finance company on a car, I don't know, 10 or 12-year-old Kia Sportage or something, for example. Right, they want to. We've got a customer for your car. Good news, yeah, we've got a customer for your car. Okay, right. What's the deposit? Oh, nothing. They're borrowing the full amount. Right, well, I'm not selling it to them then. Oh, what do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if they haven't got any money to put forward, what happens when it breaks? Do you know what I mean? They haven't got any money at all, then it's just going to end in tears. So let me just nip it in the bud now. I'm not going to sell it to them, and you know,
Yeah, that's why after driving it for 3 months and the pads get to a point where they do need replacing on a disc two, they want a dealer to do it, even though it was MOT'd and they were okay at point of sale. It's just worn. I had this with someone, I say, send me your stories, and sometimes I don't give them the answer they want. Someone put I think they put something like 6,000 miles on the car and I said, I need to do disc and pads on a couple of tires. Like, yeah, and
At what point do you think you're going to start maintaining your own car?
yeah, it wasn't. I suppose it wasn't flagged at the MOT. It means you had a dodgy MOT. No, it doesn't. The pads and discs had to be at a certain level, and tires had to be a certain level at MOT. They passed that, and now you've done six thousand
That's why
miles on
you
it.
have the warranty company, because when you pass it on to them, they explain it in a nice way, and it saves your mental energy.
That story ends up becoming a dealer sold me a dodgy car. I didn't prep it properly because he didn't put all brand new tires on the car. I didn't
Well,
put
this is
all
the
new
thing. You
brand new
got to then
discs and
explain
pads
to
on
them.
the car.
You know that used car you bought. Well, guess what? It had an awful lot of used parts on it as well. It's not all brand new tires, brakes, whatever. And that's the same thing when it comes to like you have to put a brand new part on my car. It's like, no, we don't. But
No,
that would be like making your car better than it was when you bought it. So we're going to use a second-hand part to put it back to as good, if not still not better than it was. It is a minefield, isn't it, when you think about it? And stress you out.
It's like a therapy session, isn't it? This every week.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well,
a little rant.
it's why I've found the best way forward really is just to increase volume. If you can sell more, then yes, you can have a few more of these problems, but there'll be more profit at the end of the day, and you can just take these issues on the chin really as and when they crop up.
It's when it's quiet, it really hurts you. But when you're flying, like Summit Sheik said the other month, he's like, 'cause he's got 300 odd cars. He's like, every month we've got to put an engine in a car, and it doesn't matter because we've got that many cars, we're selling that many cars. You don't feel it.
No,
But when you've got 10 cars, you've got to put an engine in. It's like end of the world, isn't it?
I'll get your number after this, Matt. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, there's some dealers in there, and I think that people like Sheik that we keep referring to really open your eye. His goal for this year is to have zero profit in cars. It will all be the add-on products, warranties, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, because it works. It works better for him, and he does. They sell their own warranties, for example. And talking about like we were talking about warranties, he says I think he does about he gets about £60,000 a month in warranty kind of revenue. Is that something? Does that sound about right? What he said? And he's got about a 10% burn rate. So every month he's making £50,000, kind of gross profit from warranties and whatever else. It's just a completely different business model. Half of us can't get heads around it, but
Oh, there's some mental lads in there, aren't they?
But
Absolutely mental.
just think of the VAT you'd save.
I was just about to say his VAT bill every quarter will be small, won't it?
That's it. So us looking for big margins,
Yeah.
flipping bigger the VAT bill, isn't it? But like these flipping car supermarkets, obviously they are still going to have big VAT bills, but it's not going to be on the margin scheme. It's going to be on all the other stuff that people pay for.
then again, he's spending £45,000 a month on motorway fees. So
Oh, really?
terrifying,
Oh,
absolutely
the
terrifying.
numbers that the numbers these guys band about is insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
What's the true cost of all these cars that you buy to do videos, Matt? Like I fix up these cars or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're a bit like I was buying. I'm not saying you buy cars specifically for content. I'm sure you do with some, but ones that make good videos because you try and fix them up, or it's just like it's a cheap car. Oh, I can't fix it. I had my farm was littered with cars that I'm like, oh, what do I do with them now? What do I do with them now? And do you know what? It totaled up, and you're like, that's £40,000.
Yeah, I know. This is the problem, isn't it? I've got a few projects around me like that, and then before you know it, yeah, I worked it out the other day. I'd got sort of 20 odd grand sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. When I see your mechanics yard, and it's like you own it basically, and you allow them a few parking spaces. It looks like.
yeah. No, my mechanic bills are always high, but it's just part of the job. But no, I don't. I do try and find more interesting cars now for video content, but yeah, not everything I film with has been bought for that purpose.
No, I know, but yeah, I guess if you're buying a lot of stuff from a main dealer, you're taking the rough with the smooth, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly,
You've got
exactly.
to take everything
Yeah.
approach of you.
Yeah,
I've spoken to people before though, Matt, that think you make absolutely no money out of your business because they think you massively overspend on every
oh yeah,
single
no,
car you
I
have in
mentioned that
stock.
in I did a Q&A video yesterday actually that hasn't gone live yet, and I mentioned that it might happen half a dozen times a month, but if that were to happen with every car, I'd be out of business.
Yeah, so I'm going to go buy a car from Matt because I'm going to be buying a 10 grand car that's had 30 grand
Yeah,
spent on it. I think that's what their mindset a lot of
no,
people are.
no, 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 it's not like that. I just try and film the more entertaining ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah,
course, yeah.
yeah. Do you get the lecturing like I do? Which like this is what you need to do. You need to stop buying this. And you need to stop buying the risky stuff.
Yeah,
And it's like that. That's kind of like entertainment, really.
yeah,
It's very
exactly.
small. You're seeing 20 minutes from 120-hour week.
I think my favourite is you'll never get that money for that car. They're only worth this much up north, or they're only this worth this much there. And then like video after video, I sell it for exactly what I
Yeah,
said I
yeah,
was going
yeah,
to sell it for. And then every now and then I'll go on YouTube, I'll go on Auto, and I go on then. I'll search within 50 miles of your area for the same car with
yeah,
the same mileage from a dealer. Oh look, you can't buy it for
yeah,
the peanuts you said it
exactly.
was. Or I'll go,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll send a transporter up then. I'll buy as many as you can get. You can double your money on every single one of them.
Everyone's an expert, aren't they? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I tend to say. Is I'll put like the Auto Trader valuation. Oh, never get that for that. Prices are crazy. You'll never sell it for that. And I'm like, sorry, everyone. I'm just going to call up Auto Trader, let them know that Gary down in fucking Newark knows the car market better than they do.
Auto Trader saw 5,000 go across their books in the last few months, but Gary from Bedford knows exactly what that's worth.
Sorry, guys, you got it wrong. Get it changed.